The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, it's 35 days since this House went into session, and in those 35 days, the three defining problems of this moment have continued to press on the lives of the people of our province: the health care crisis, the climate emergency, and the urgent situation of the affordability of daily life. So let me start with health care. Today in Nova Scotia, if a person is experiencing a mental health crisis and they call our public mental health services, they're given an appointment months and months and months from now. But in our neighbouring jurisdictions, they're doing so much better than this. If you make that call in Newfoundland or you make that call in PEI, you're given an appointment with a counsellor within the day. And so I'd like to ask the Premier, will he admit that no concrete measures have been taken by his government over these last 35 days to get us closer to a mental health care system that will work for the people of our province?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the Honourable for the question for what is a very serious issue in communities. He would know we continue to make investments in mental health, Mr. Speaker. He would know continue to make those investments, particularly in the wraparound services in our schools, ensuring that we're providing those supports, early identification, and detection, Mr. Speaker, of the issues around mental health. And we'll continue to work with our partners, Mr. Speaker. This is not something that happens in 35 days. It's been an ongoing effort and collaboration with our partners, Mr. Speaker, and we continue to look forward to working with them to ensure that we can support those young people in all Nova Scotians who require our support.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
These 35 days began on their first week with 10,000 people in the streets of Halifax calling for strengthened climate action. And in the last week of these 35-day session, we've had dozens of people come to the legislature speaking for stronger environmental targets. So I'd like to ask the Premier, will he admit that in the course of these 35 days, no measures have been taken by his government that will actually result in, for Nova Scotia's part, in keeping global warming under 1.5 degrees?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the gentleman for the question, Mr. Speaker. I completely disagree with his question, Mr. Speaker. The Minister of Environment has tabled a bill that will be debated again in this House today, Mr. Speaker, with the most aggressive targets in the entire country. We as a province, through successive governments of all political stripes, have led the nation when it comes to ensuring that we deal with our environment, dealing with ensuring that we green our economy. We're continuing that, and this piece of legislation, Mr. Speaker, has in it some of the most aggressive targets globally, Mr. Speaker, but definitely the most aggressive targets here in our country.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, while we've been meeting here for these 35 days, people across our province have continued to be clobbered by their rent. People all over Nova Scotia are reporting increases in the rent in the hundreds of dollars, and we know that a fifth of the renters of the province are paying out more than a half of their income every month in rent. So I want to ask the Premier, finally, will he admit that in these 35 days, no concrete measures have actually been taken by his government to take some of the pressure off the renters of the province?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, I want to thank the gentleman for the question. He would know, Mr. Speaker, and I agree with him, there are pockets and parts of our province where the issue of affordable rents are challenging, Mr. Speaker. It's what happens when you have a growing economy, one where unemployment is at an all-time low, Mr. Speaker. It's why, though, that we continue to look at the rent subs, provide those supports, working with our partners. He would know, Mr. Speaker, at the municipality, they're building a strategy. The Minister of Municipal Services and Housing, we're working in collaboration to deal with the very issue the Honourable Member is referring to. There isn't a single solution, Mr. Speaker, to how we deal with affordable housing. It varies across the province, and we look forward to working with all of our partners to ensure that we deal with this very important issue.